love that beginning. Damn, I love that beginning. Anyway, welcome to the Not So Famous podcast. I am your host, Manager Marco, and I'm going to get right into it because I can't wait to get this beautiful, lovely lady. She's like the older sister I never had, so I'm going to bring her in right now. Is the
Older
lovely and talented
sister?
Denine. Excuse me?
Older sister?
Young. I have a younger sister. What am I going to say?
I love you.
Younger sister I never had. She's probably watching.
Hi, Marco's sister. I never knew you had a sister. I
Denise,
never
thank
knew.
you, thank you for coming on.
It's my pleasure. I'm
Pleasure's all mine,
excited.
believe me. I couldn't
You
wait
are.
to have you on. It's a perfect time because everything that's going on. But I'm going to get right into the nitty gritty with you, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead. Let's jump. Let's do it.
So, of course, I know most of your history. So, and I work with you, in this music thing. So I already know most of the answers. So it's a
I
little
was
bit
going
of
to
a
say, what
weird.
questions? You know the answer to every. I
I
haunt
think
you
I
on
know
a
the
daily
answer.
basis.
I mean, you guys surprised me, you and Gino, over the past couple of years. But
We do that.
anyway, how'd you get started in music? Tell me how you got the bug and how you got your break, your first big break.
So I loved music from the time I was 6 years old. I really didn't start singing until my mother bought me this little record player, and with a bunch of 45s, Melissa Manchester, Bette Midler, Barbara Streisand, all the greats,
Right,
Motown,
right,
Diana Ross, and I would just go down the basement and just sing for hours. And I just loved music. I was about 6. Then I went to school and blindly auditioned for the school talent show. Came home and told my parents that I was going to sing in the school talent show and that they needed to come. And they were like, "Oh, okay." And they came, and I wound up getting a standing ovation. And that is when I heard the roar of that, the crowd and the applause, and just felt the energy of the crowd, I was hooked from when I was 6. And
right,
that is just how it started from when I was that age, and just cultivated loving music, learning music, reading music,
right.
and then eventually meeting Gino and Adam Morano and got my first record deal.
And is that where your first big break came with Gino and Adam?
It did. And it's funny because early on, from the time I was about 6 till I was about 16, I went on auditions and I had many offers of different record deals and things. My father was very strict, still to this day. He just felt like he wanted me to finish school and
Hmm.
get done everything I had to do. And he said, when you turn 18, you're free to do whatever you want, but you have to promise me you're going to go to college. So I graduated high school in June of 1990 and had my first record the following year on the radio, which was Baby I Love You, and Then Came You. So I
Right.
did follow his advice, but I wanted to do music. I didn't want, and I was good at school. I was very academic, but I just had that in me. I mean, when you have that passion, nothing's going to die it out. Nothing,
Right.
and just something that I love. And that's when I met Gino, and that was my official big break when I turned 18 and I was allowed to sign a record deal.
Right.
So that's what happened.
And you signed a record deal, correct?
I did, yes.
With who?
Well, initially I signed it with Viper Metropolitan. We
Right.
had like a little indie label called Tripodi. It was a record. I don't know if you remember this years ago.
Absolutely. A little record store, a record
Right.
barn, record store.
It was like a little, it was called the Record Bar, and Jerry
Right.
Tripodi was the owner, and he backed my first project. And it
Okay.
was called Tripodi Records, and it was Baby I Love You. But then initially Micmac picked up Then Came You. And
Right.
both labels wanted me to be on their label, but we decided to go with Metropolitan and with Adam, and we had like a subsidiary called Viper Metropolitan. But later on in life, I signed a not so great deal with Big Beat Atlantic Records, which was
Atlantic
more of a
Records.
developmental deal,
Right.
which was fun to get out of.
Oh, we're gonna get into all the
So,
music stuff, the business stuff. But you actually toured with a pretty popular boy band.
yeah,
Yeah,
couple boy bands.
a
Well,
couple
my
boy bands.
first, it was New Kids on the Block were the first. I opened
Right.
up for them a few times with Adam. That was great. And a couple, Boys the Men. But
Oh,
everybody that was anybody back then, especially
right.
with the Q102 shows, Q102, my hometown station was very good to me. They
Yes.
they supported me from day one. Gino was a mixer there, the super mixer as we like to call
The
him.
super mixer.
The
Yeah.
super mixer.
I just
He
saw that
loved
the other
that.
night. I didn't know. I thought he was just a mixer, but he's a super mixer.
He's a super mixer.
I will never make that mistake again
Don't
with
get
Gino.
it twisted. Oh, I'm
He's a
trying to look at
super
the comments. Hi, bro. But Gino was the super mixer, and he was
super
listen.
mixer.
He was gifted back then, and him and Adam they were just on fire at that point. Like it was Then Came You, then Baby I Love You, and then we did
Right,
the Collage album, the Denine album,
right.
every album in between.
I mean, that's where I saw you, the Q102 shows, the radio. I mean, that's how I
Did you really?
became a fan of Denine. Yeah, of course.
I didn't know that. I know you're a hip hop guy, so I'm honored that
I
you.
mean, I am like an old school hip hop guy.
I
I'm
know.
kind of, I'm in the pop realm right now.
I
But,
know. And we stuffed you
so,
back into that freestyle world.
oh man, you're dragging me back into that freestyle world right now. Well,
I'm
again,
dragging myself back.
yeah. So, let's get into that. So, you were pretty successful, and then at some point you decided I'm done, or I'm going to take a break, or what was the thought? Like, what were you thinking when you're like, you know what, were you thinking I'm done, or I'm just taking a break, or what was your thoughts like when you said I'm leaving music? Like, what was
Honestly,
going through
I
your mind?
left music for a lot of different reasons. One reason being my kids.
Okay,
Gino was he was 3 years old. He was diagnosed with autism. And we were doing shows and I would literally work maybe I would say like 1 5-day weekend a month.
right,
Adam was great with that. So obviously Gino, we were married at the time.
right,
And I would travel that one time per month. And thank God back then, my mother, my in-laws were amazing. They helped me with Gino, but it got difficult because as he got older, it was progressively harder to get him where he needed to be.
right,
And there was a choice that had to be made. And the choice was easy.
right,
I was a mom first. So it was very easy and honestly, I wasn't loving what I was doing. I kind of lost the passion for what I was doing. I kind of became like a cog in a machine for everybody around me and just singing songs I wasn't passionate about. I didn't write, I didn't have any involvement musically. I think even Gino and I were just raising our family. And then we had Michael,
right,
and Michael was also diagnosed. So that's initially why I left music. And really, honestly, Marco, I wasn't looking back. Like it wasn't, I don't know why. I just was content with raising my family and singing shows once in a while. It was very hard back then because you didn't well, it wasn't hard. It was easier actually, I would say, because you didn't
right,
have social media. You didn't know what anybody else was doing.
right, right,
So it was like, okay, I'm not what I don't see, I don't miss.
right.
Out of
That's
sight, out of
exactly.
mind.
Yeah.
So out of sight, out of mind for a really long, long time.
Right, right. And in case people who didn't hear last week or heard last week's episode, yes, she's talking about she was married to the Gino that was the first guest there.
The super mixer.
The super mixer,
Super mixer.
Gino Caporal.
I'm
Yes,
trying to watch the comments because I know we're gonna make a
he is your
little.
baby daddy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're married and we are best friends now. We are a fan. We are. I like to call it. We are a crazy, happy, dysfunctional family.
Hmm.
We are
Hmm.
blended. My husband and this. We're all friends. We all travel together. We all work together. I'm sorry, excuse me. And it's great. It's a great dynamic. Wasn't always like that, but we worked
Right.
really hard to get it to that point. And
Yes.
I'm glad we did because he's like the brother that I didn't know I had. And that sounds weird to people who don't know us, but when you see us together,
Yeah.
you get it.
Right.
You're around us all the time.
Right.
It's
Right.
just
So
very natural. We're just very musically driven. We have the
yes.
same passion, which is music,
Hmm.
and we just want to be doing that. And we work well together. So
Right.
it
So
works.
that's a good segue into what I was going to ask next is when did you get the itch to come back?
All right. So about 10 years, no, it's about 13 years ago because Sal's going to be 10 and it was a couple of years before him. I seen Gino was doing his thing on 418. It just opened up 418, the music label.
Yeah.
No freestyle, nothing like that. He was just doing pure dance music. Loving
Yeah.
what he was doing. He was working with some great artists, one including Crystal Waters.
Right.
And I just, I knew that I didn't want to be on that label, not because it was just wasn't at the time cohesive what we were doing. He was working steadily with that. And so he's like, listen, why don't you, I'm going to put you in touch with Mike Ferrillo. Why don't you, I had met Steve Mig through my husband had researched some producers and he found Steve. People don't know that, but my husband's the one that originally connected us all to Mig. So he, at the time, he was collabing with Rizzo. I went in, Janelle and I, because Janelle was always the driving force who doesn't get well, I give her a ton of credit because
I
she's
didn't know that.
Janelle. Every time I would fall back a little bit and be out of sight for a little bit, Janelle would find a way to get in touch with me. And she'd be like, I got a song. And that's
Right.
the record that you heard Shine the other night
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
car on the way home from AC. And she wrote me that. And she said, I want you to hear it. Our mothers both passed of breast cancer. So we had that connection. And she had written this song. And she goes, I would love for you to do it. And we were looking for a producer. And my husband found Mig.
Wow.
And, in the meantime, Gino was doing what he was doing. And
Mhm.
so the record company at the time, which was Mike Ferrillo, Tasman, I guess it was Taz at the time. They didn't love the record. And it's not that they didn't love that they wanted me to write with something with Mig. And so I was like, okay, so that's how What Happened to Love came about.
Right.
I didn't love it. It's a good record, but it wasn't, you're working with Mig, so he's amazing. He can make Happy Birthday sound unbelievable.
Phenomenal engineer,
Exactly. He's a
producer.
genius at what he does. I love working with him. I still work, which is great because that relationship formed out of that.
Yeah.
And it just, and I got a bad taste again, Marco. It was a lot of business things that didn't, just didn't feel right. And I wasn't happy with the direction that my career was taking. I said, you know what? I'm out. I'm done. And this is not for me. And I'm going to be honest with you. That is when because I did have the itch to sing. I didn't so much have the itch for the business.
Right.
Things are different now because, we'll talk about that as you know, but there was some bad choices made,
Yeah.
executively made
Mhm.
that I wasn't happy with. And I just said, you know what, maybe this is my sign to just take a step back and just focus on just other things. And I did, I disappeared again for another decade. And,
Right.
and here I am. This time is different though. It just feels right because I'm a partner and I am Gino. It's different. We collaborate together. You know this. We have a very good, strong team. And it's different. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying the journey.
Right.
It's not just about this was for me this time. This is not about proving anything to anybody else. It's about knowing that I can do this and as a woman in this business that I can make decisions. And honestly, it was a challenge to myself. And I remember Gino sent me down and going, you're going to have to do a lot of things. You're going to have to work out. You're going to have to lose weight. I'm going to be honest with you. And he wasn't body shaming me.
No.
He was not doing that. It wasn't,
No.
I didn't take it like, I don't need women like, you listen to a man. What? Because trust me, I'm a strong, you know this. I am a very opinionated, strong minded woman.
A ball buster.
A ball buster. I'll own that. I will. But I knew if I want to have a little bit of a shot
Sure.
and just compete, I knew that I had to bring my A game because I'm not young. I'm not
Right.
in the prime of my life. Although, that's even a thing that I don't believe anymore because Crystal Waters, I remember going to dance when we went last year to the dance music conference
Yeah.
in Miami. And I met Crystal for the first time. And she was like, girl, age is only a number. Because she looked slamming. She was hot. Like not a day went by. And I'm like, wow. And I said to her, like, how do you, like, I'm always told, like, it's an age thing. And she's like, no, it's not.
So I mean, to an extent, it is right. If you're doing
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
I'm blessed to be working with established artists like yourself, the LFOs, the O Towns, the Trevors. Guys that have done it before. and I'm on the other spectrum where I work with the Carlys and the other
Up and
upcoming
coming.
up and coming, and that lost art of artist development, right? It's a lost
And it's
art,
so right. And I love that you
right?
are doing that because not a lot
Right.
of people do.
Not a lot of people do it, but we know what those. I'm walking in major labels. I'm walking in their offices because of Caputo. We're in there and we're pitching them. We're
Absolutely.
pitching
Well,
we're
you're
pitching
looking
the
at the
art.
bigger picture for
Right.
me. We've spoke about this so many times. We had so
Sure.
many good conversations, you and I, about that.
Yeah.
Long conversations. I've learned a lot. I think we both like take from each other. And
Of
you're
course.
right. Like I think when you know what your end goal is, you go in with a different mindset. I'm not in competition with a younger person or even anybody
No.
my own age. I'm in
No.
competition with myself. And my whole goal is, and Gino has always instilled this in me, and my husband and my brother and you as my team and Janelle, like I'm going to do the best I can do. I'm not going to compete with a young girl because I'm not a young girl. I'm a seasoned performer. So I like to call it seasoned.
Season's a great word.
Aged like fine wine.
Yes, exactly.
Moscato. But I'm happy with that. I'm good with that part of finally being comfortable in my own skin and being like, you know what? I'm 51 years old and I work out all the time. I eat right. I sing all the time. I
Right.
love to perform. I want to make good music. And
Right.
that's all I can do. And I think it's working for me this
I
time.
I I don't think I know it's working because you came back. I mean, what was the first song you came back with?
Out My Body was
Out My Body, right?
only in June of, and it feels like so long ago,
It,
but
it
it's
does.
only what, not this June, that just, it's a year and a half that I've been
A
back.
year and a half.
That's it.
Right. Great song, right?
Yeah. Janelle wrote it. Beautiful,
Janelle
great
wrote it,
record.
another great song. And then you came back with what? What was your next single?
So then Gino came to me with, which I was reluctant. I was like
Right.
being hard head and saying, I don't want to do a remake. Last Chance, which was by the iconic Saray, the song by Saray. And I'm
Right.
like, oh God, I don't want to touch it because she is a legend and
Right.
she's amazing. And he was like, no, this is just an homage to the greats, to the legends. And he's right. Like it was a way of me shining a light on a song that not a lot of like a lot of younger freestyle fans know.
Right.
We knew it, like, because we're fans of the genre.
Sure.
But so he approached it to me because he knows how to talk to me. He knows. And I'm like, you're right. But I'm so glad I did it because it really went over well. And,
It was
and
so good. It
the
was so well
community
done.
loved it, which I'm happy. The
Yeah.
freestyle community embraced it because I was worried.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a little scary because I do feel sometimes like, remakes are frowned upon.
Um, I mean, I think if you do it correct, I think a lot of artists they rely too heavily on doing
Sure.
remakes. Because when I go to these shows, and you know me, I like freestyle. I do like freestyle. I grew
Do
up with it.
you?
It's not my yeah. It's not my listen. It's not my top genre, obviously, but I like it. I grew up on TKA, and it's
Oh
weird
God,
that
yes.
it's just a weird thing that now that I know everybody, but um, it's yeah. I grew up with it. I like it. I like
Well, I feel
freestyle.
like Kay has broken down walls. I don't feel like he's just a freestyle artist. He
Right.
did it. He did what a lot of artists can't do, and he did transition over to pop for a long
Right.
time.
Right.
K7. I
Come
mean,
Baby Come was huge.
yeah. I mean, come on, didn't somebody just license that record to?
Yeah, it's all over the
I,
place. Yeah,
I mean, so Kay knew what he was doing, and he was smart. So we should all take a page
exactly.
out of his book.
Exactly. Took a page out of his book, and so I mean, every time you go to these shows, I'm like, why is this artist on there? Oh, they got one song, and then they do four songs that aren't even theirs. And that gets on my nerves a little bit. Like
It's frustrating. I think it
and,
was it was frustrating when I sat in the audience and I would hear people performing my music. So that was like hard.
that's a tough one.
That was
Sure.
tough. That was not easy. And I'm like, well, if I'm not doing it though,
Right.
I'm not out there. Who am I to? Anybody can do any song they want. You basically can put any, like I like to do an acoustic song every once in a while. Like I like to,
Yeah.
if I do a home show, like have a friend of mine who plays the guitar come up, join me on stage and do like a Pat Benatar acoustic song, just to
Right.
show that I'm, because this is the thing about freestyle music, because I love the genre. I have the most loyal fan base. They have drugged me over the finish line many times this year.
They're
They
unbelievable.
they are diehards. They are loyal. The thing about freestyle music is a lot of the singers in the freestyle genre don't get the credit that they deserve.
Facts.
That you could sing. Look at one. I mean,
Facts.
you have some of the greatest singers, George Lamond, my new bestie.
Your new
Um,
bestie.
Raquel. I mean,
Right.
she's got to set up Judy Torres. I mean, you got
Right.
Sweet Sensation, Betty D, like
Right.
Cynthia. You have Kay. Suave is amazing vocalist.
Yeah.
I hate when people I do hear like or I read comments online. Oh, freestyle people. A lot of them they go into freestyle because they can't sing.
Yeah.
That's not true. So it's
That's not
very
true.
important for me to do sing certain things in my show. So I would do like a cover song.
Right.
But when your whole show is covers, I don't know if I could.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like the
Yeah, it's
whole
a
show's
lot.
covers, and I'm like, what is this? I have a woman here that's got some bangers ready to go, and we're sitting on the sidelines. That's the shit that gets on my nerves.
It's political.
I know it's up there.
It's
This,
politicky, and I'm okay with that. Like I'm good with, I've gotten some great, we've gotten some great opportunities over and listen to do the song with George
right.
for him to grace his amazing talent on my
Right.
record is just an honor. I always say this to Gino, like I could tap out now and be happy forever. I'm not tapping out,
Don't
but
do that. No.
no, I'm not going. Listen, I'm having too much fun, and I have such. You guys have put this wall of protection around me, and have guarded me and helped me. And it wasn't like that before. And it's not because Gino. I just think it wasn't the way it is now. So I appreciate everything that you've done for me, and
Oh, my
my
pleasure.
manager Gino and my brother
How about your manager?
yeah, yeah.
I'm not
That's
your
an inside
manager.
joke. I'm not your manager. Then I'll go, well, who do I tell him to call? Just tell him to call me. He's the manager, non-manager. And then there's
He's
my husband who's single-handedly he's like, I think you should go on TikTok. I'm like, you think?
right.
And that
Right.
was my husband telling me, I'm like, babe, I think I'm just too old for TikTok. And
Right. So let's before we get into all that, the single "When You Talk," right? We released it. How long ago we released it?
July.
Right. It went number
It's
one on
only out in
iTunes. Right. That was
number
what, our
one.
fourth number one?
I think
4 in a
Gino,
row.
is it 4 in a row?
I can't afford all these plaques. I'm just letting you know.
I know. Look, see, I have Out
Yeah.
My Body because that went number one.
Of course. Of course.
Then Last Chance went number one
Yep.
on both I believe the dance chart. I think it went right, Gino. I don't know. It went number one twice.
Oh yeah, it went number one twice. Yeah, because you put the remixes out, I
Then we
believe.
put the remixes out
Yeah.
and then Janelle. Then this. Listen, she hummed it to me.
Right.
I'll never forget her calling me, and she's like, "I got an idea. I got an idea. Just hear me out." And she went, "Da da 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 la 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 la." I went, "I love it. Let's call Gino." 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, he's like, "Girls, I'm in, but let me sleep." Listen, Marco, I call him. It is sad what I do.
Absolutely, I know.
I
But
won't
here's the thing.
apologize.
This song is a game changer.
4 in a row, 5 total.
Yes, I popped it up there for everybody to
I
see
agree,
that.
Andrew. I'm never too old. Listen, why I say this is because, and I will put this out there, and I have a good relationship with Mike Furlow now. It was very rocky back then, and his thing was always, well, you're not your age, and he did. It's not that and listen, he might kill me for saying I adore him now.
Right.
But he did kind of put that idea in my head, and a lot of other the men that I was working around. None of the women ever did. It was always the men telling me that
Right.
even Gino a little bit, won't call him out, not in a mean way. He would go deep, but if you come back, you have to come back and just leave no stone unturned. Like you have to be fit.
He's right.
He's right. And I didn't, listen, I listened to him though. He's like, you have to master your social media. You have to get better on social media. You have
Right.
to do these things. And I'm like, okay. So for that whole 6 months prior, like I was going to the gym and I was working out and
Yeah.
knowing that I needed to because listen, you got greats like Cynthia touring all the time. She looks phenomenal. I just went to this AC show. Taylor Dane looks better now than I remember her looking
Right.
back in the day. She's hot. Like
Right.
Just,
Right.
and I'm not saying it's all about the look, but let's face it, it is a package.
It's a
You're an
package.
artist.
Right.
Nobody wants to go to a show and see me running around like in like my outfit that I go to Walmart in, or like,
Right.
and I'm not putting anybody down if that's like your thing, but like my thing is you're paying money to come see me. I want to give you a show. So
Right.
that's been my whole mindset now with this new venture is I'm
Yeah.
going to give it my 110%. You know that. You know I'm a little A
Of
type
of
A.
of course. So, you know, the song goes number one, and you continue to badger Gino, and I have to agree with you on this, but you continue to badger Gino about this song's not over. This song is
Nah,
not over. And I kept listening to it some more, and I listened to it, and I had my ideas, and I dropped the ball on a couple ideas, but you were 100% correct. It wasn't over because
I'm glad. Is this recorded?
it's going to record. Yeah, it's going to get
No,
recorded. Yeah,
I'm
of
just
course.
saying. I'm going to put that on loop as. I'm
Oh,
only joking.
listen.
No, listen. You know how I felt about it. I said to Janelle, this record's special, and Gino didn't love it at first. He didn't.
I
He
know.
didn't. Not. He didn't love it.
I know.
He
I
didn't
know he
love it.
didn't love it.
And now, listen. Every time I say something, he goes, "Say what you want to say." He's always like, "I'm like, oh God." My husband runs around going la 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 la
All day, all
all day,
day.
every day. Even the baby, even
It's
Sal.
such a well written song.
Oh,
It's
she
so
knocked it out of
good.
the park.
It's freestyle, but it's got a pop thing to it
It
that I
does.
just can't shake out of my head. I think everybody would love it outside of freestyle too.
I agree.
That's what I'm thinking. And
Whether I sang it or not, that was a hot song.
it was a
I
hot
just was
song.
lucky enough to have it.
It was tailor made for you,
It
I
was. Well, I mean,
believe.
she did write it for, and then you have Willie, who did an amazing job with the
Right.
production, and
Of
Steve and
course.
Meg,
Yeah.
Club Jumpers.
Yeah.
Listen, I've worked with all the people that I've worked with, starting back. You know this. I mean, I'm amazed by just the talent.
Yeah.
Willie is amazing. Willie is
Phenomenal. He always been. Always
always.
had.
I've been
Always
dying
has
to work
been.
with him.
How did George Lamont get involved? I mean, I know how he got involved. How did he get involved? Look at you.
Because
I know
he's
you
my
cheese.
bestie.
Yeah,
Because
he's your
we're like,
bestie. Duh.
because we're like this. You like my shirt?
Oh my goodness. Really? What are you?
This is going to be my new. My friend made it for me, and this is actually these were prizes that we made for some contest winners. So we did this. We thought it was called the Shush contest because somebody was actually making fun of me. We got back to us. You remember the story? And I said, you know what? We're going to spin this. We're going to say we're going to do the Shush,
Yeah, do
and
the shush.
everybody submitted
Yeah,
pictures, and this is what came out of it. So I love it. It's got the Shush. So I'm going to put that on my website. But
absolutely.
George Lamont, I mean Gino, I thought he was lying when he called me. He's like, "Listen, I just got a phone call." And I'm like, "You did?" And he's like, "You're never gonna believe who just contacted me." And I was like, "Who?" And he's like, "GL." I went, "No." About what? He had heard the record. Tim Schomer had given George the record, and he has a radio show on Power 78.7. And he has a bi-weekly show that he does called the Power Lunch Hour. And it
Right.
really is cool. Definitely check it out. You can get it on the app. And he just wants to focus on freestyle classics. But he had said he was looking for some new freestyle to showcase in the show, and that Tim Schomer was said, you got to hear this record. You got to hear the new Denine record. And this was recent. It happened so quickly. And you know this. This
Yeah.
was not even 3 weeks ago. What was it, 3 weeks
No.
ago?
No. It was about. I mean, a little over.
A little over 3 weeks.
Yeah. They Yeah. We rushed it. We rushed to get it. You know, Gino
We
busted
didn't
his
even
ass
have
to get it
time to
out.
go do like a photo shoot. And
No.
so it
No.
was like, George was like, no, I want, and he said to Gino, like, what are you guys doing with this record? So Gino said to him, well, we're gonna do like a dance mix and have it out for Amsterdam to go on the compilation with, but then, we're working on some new stuff. And he goes, but then there's always the GL remix. And he went, that's what I'm calling you about. And it just happened, and he recorded, and he knocked it out of the park. I mean, it's out
Cool.
now if you want to stream, and it's available all streaming and downloading platforms. He did I mean, he's George Lamont. I
He
mean,
killed
he's
it.
the goat. He
He
killed it.
killed it. It was
I
so
still
good.
have to say to myself, did this really occur? Real, and I feel like, and you know this, a week prior to this, we had a team meeting, and I was doing what I do.
Yeah, not making the meeting go easy. We didn't
Doing
get
what
to
I
the
do,
point.
people.
We didn't get to the
Do-
point of anything until later on because that's how we do it.
And just harassing poor Gino. And at this point, everybody's harassing. And I'm like, this record's not over. This record's not over.
I'm telling you, I agreed that it was not over. Also, I still think you can acquire a different audience with,
I agree.
you know.
I think that it's just starting. I think we're starting to get like we just listen. It was released on Friday. I'm going to give you some very non-promoted statistics that had nothing to do with U.S. It charted number 18 in Canada.
Right,
It charted in Denmark. It
right.
charted in Brazil. I mean, we don't. I love when you could say what you want to
Say
say,
what you want to
but
say.
it charted, and I think definitely George's stamp on it is definitely helped. I mean, the streams are doing really steady. I mean, listen, for an indie label with not a big giant budget, we're doing pretty darn good, I think. So I'm proud of what we've accomplished.
We're
418 is a force to be reckoned with right now, especially the freestyle label.
it was before the pandemic. It was a force to be reckoned with, and
He
you know,
established that. My
yeah,
ex-husband, my friend, my
yeah,
manager does not always get the credit that he deserves, and he doesn't look for it. He always says to me, Denine, it's free. Like the other night, we had one backstage pass, and he's like, I want you to go. And I'm like, no, I think
right, right.
you're the
Instead of
record
passing
label.
it
He goes,
around like
no, I
a
want
hot
you to go.
dog, right?
And I thought that was pretty cool of him. He puts
But
his artists first. He
well,
does.
because the purpose of the night was not to go see a freestyle concert. It was to get you back there and politic with the people you needed to politic with.
And listen, I have to tell you the interaction because I'm not like I don't really like thrusting myself in. I love the social media part, connecting with the
Sure.
audience because you know how I feel about my freestyle family.
Of course.
But Brenda K. Starr was by getting ready to go on stage, and I'm thinking, I'm not. I've never. I met her years ago, and she was always very kind to me. I mean, she's Brenda K. Starr. She's a star.
Right.
She walked right up to me and she was like, "Hey," and I was like, "Hi." Because I was backstage and I was just waiting for Raquel to come out because I knew she had been ready to get on stage and I wanted to wish her well.
Hmm.
Um, and Brenda was there and I'm thinking, this is real. I'm on a record with George Lamont and I'm actually talking to somebody who I've idolized. And she's talking to me about her show and that she was, she had to cut her show tape. And I'm like, here we are, just two performers, just shooting the shit. And like, she's
Right.
cool and amazing. And it's nice. I think that we're all older now and it's not, I mean, I'm not going to say it's not all petty. We had a little pettiness today, but, it comes with the territory of the music business, but the legends, people like her and George Lamont, they're so
Right.
gracious with their platforms and they share and there's no ego. Betty D, like there's no ego. Cynthia, like they're so like secure in who they are as performers. So it is different. I'm enjoying that part of it. Like I don't mind being a little fish in a big pond. It's not it's an honor to open the show for Sweet Sensation. I mean, that chick is like, to me,
Right.
she's an icon.
Right.
I'll open a show for her any day of the week in TKA. There's nothing like that bothers me about that. I think years ago, it would be like everybody was like, I don't even think even back then I cared because I really never was the one to watch. And it feels weird because everybody keeps telling me, like, you're the one that everybody's watching. And I'm like, really? Like, I thank you. I appreciate that, but that's not why I'm doing it. Like, I want to be on more shows. I want to perform.
Right.
That's it.
Well, that's on our checklist. You and I talk about all the time. What
All the
my
time.
goals for you are get on some of these big shows and perform and just get a steady schedule going where we're always on the road and we're going places.
From your lips to God's ears, and I do believe it's a lot closer than it was.
Of
To be
course it
honest,
is.
when you're away as long as you were, as I was,
Right.
I've been out of the game for a long, long time. So I think it was about reestablishing myself as an artist and people saying, okay, she's here. Okay, she has one record. Okay, it was good. She did good.
Right.
Oh, okay, she's still. I think people, they wait to see the continuity and see that I'm going to be so
Right.
consistent. And my mom always gave me the advice: be so good they can't ignore you. So that's kind of what my theme has been. Like I'm just
Right.
going to keep on grinding, and God willing, somebody's bound to give me a shot. I
You
hope.
kicked the door down, honey. I got news for you because this last single is it's gotta be top two songs freestyle in the last 10 years. That's
You
and I'm
think
not
so?
a freestyle fanatic, so I'm not debating it with anybody because I don't know enough. But from what I've gone back and looked, it's top. Got to be top two, right?
Wow. I don't.
I
I don't.
I
I don't
that's my
want to.
opinion, and I'm not a
I think you
expert.
guys would. I think Gino would know. I'm looking. Um, No, he's not writing anything. I mean, I think it's one of the top records in the last 5 years. I know Jenny Renee had a great record, All Hooked Up. That
Oh,
was
all hooked up was a
great
great
team.
song. Great song.
You had the GA came back with some strong material. He did a
Right.
great record with Cynthia.
Hmm.
Slip It Through My Hands was,
That
I
was
think that was
that
the
was
deal
one of my. That
breaker.
was probably top two.
Yeah, K is. I think that's number one. Like
You
that's
think that's number
probably, and
one?
Jenny Renee's up there, and
Can I be a little biased? I mean, let me be a little biased because I'm with
I think up there, I hope. I mean, listen, the goal is to put good quality freestyle music out. And, you know, people go to me, do you think it's ever going to be on the radio again? And I look at TikTok as our modern day radio and Facebook. These DJs have single-handedly, it's one that when you go on TikTok and you go in and out of these DJs' lives, they're playing
right,
they're keeping up, they're helping keep this genre going. They deserve
yes,
their accolade and their props because it's keeping the genre going. And then you have the legends doing show after show after
right,
show.
right,
They're
and they're
keeping it
packing the place.
going.
They're packing the
Absolutely.
place.
They're packing it. I mean, you listen, I looked around that venue the other night. There was not an empty seat,
No,
not an empty seat. And
not an empty seat at all.
that was pretty cool. I mean, they'll look around and, oh, I don't know if you know this, but George gave me a shout out.
He did on stage. We missed it. I missed it. I didn't hear it.
You missed it. I didn't miss it. Oh, I
What?
kidding.
Oh,
He
oh,
did. No, he did. And I was like, when you think you hear your name, but you don't know if you heard it.
yeah,
I'm like, what?
yeah,
That to me is like, here's this person who really, he don't need me.
no,
He's George Lamont. Like
right,
but I'm just so honored. I'm just really, I mean, I think like God has his hand in everything right now. And I'm protected and I have great people around me. And you know what's great about our team? We all have pure intentions and a pure goal in mind. And it's
yeah,
not to outdo or outshine or hurt anybody else. We're just trying to do our
no,
own thing. And it's fun.
no.
I
I
think we're having
mean,
a good time.
that's well said. We're not looking to. Yeah, it's nothing. We're looking to just better ourselves, right? We're looking to better you as the artist, and and that's what we're doing. We're not. You're not going to hear us bad mouth anybody.
No, I was on
Um,
an interview the other night with somebody. Gino and I wouldn't say an interview, it was a phone call. And, this one particular, very sweet person, but he was saying, there's three artists and, I'm going to say you're because those other two. And I went, listen, before you say anything about my fellow female peers, we
right,
all deserve a shot.
absolutely,
Everybody wants to shine, have their moment, and I'm not gonna die out somebody else's candles because I want mine to shine brighter. Maybe years ago, I won't say I've never done that because I would
right,
be lying to you.
right,
I have thrown my fair share of shade at females in my career. I'm
sure,
just not down for that no more. I just don't really. It doesn't. I don't know. I just don't initially, like Gina will say, like, why do you get so upset when you hear certain things? Because it's something I would never do.
right,
But I have to just, that's the only thing about me that I do get a little bit like, why it's still like this, but it is. It's still the music business. And it's by the people you don't think. I mean, because the legends are amazing. They don't. Cynthia shares my stuff. Little Susie, you have Angel from the Cover Girls who'll message me and be like, "You're doing a great job," and
right,
I'm dying. I was dying to meet you. That to me is, I don't even know that half these people knew my name. I'm going to be honest with you. I knew
right,
Susie. I mean, I toured with Susie, but like, they're just gracious and kind, and it's not what people think it is. Not everybody, but
right.
mostly everybody is. You know this. You're with me when I'm there. So I wish that would be the thing about freestyle that I wish would change, because all you hear is the 5% freaking Facebook that are
Right.
pissy because their record ain't on a countdown. And the countdowns are great, but that's not even why we're doing what we're doing.
No,
It's nice for people to get on a countdown, but that's not why I'm doing what I'm doing. So
I think the countdowns are good because terrestrial radio doesn't give you guys that anymore. They don't give freestyle that anymore,
and
right?
CPR has doing that from day one with me.
Right. I don't care what
Supported me
people
from day
think of the
one.
countdown. It's legit. It's not legit. Gives a shit. It's a countdown for a genre that really isn't where it was years ago. So people like that doing that is a good thing
Oh, I
for
think
the
so. I
genre.
think him and Tim, and you have people like him that are just, in the
Right.
MDW, they're open up all the internet DJs, and everybody else say,
Right.
like, I don't care if you have 5 followers or 5,000. If you're playing my music, I appreciate that.
Sure.
You would love to
Sure.
be able to give everybody the record for free initially.
Right.
It doesn't work that way, unfortunately. If it was up to me, I mean, my husband and Gino will tell you this. I'm just like, hey, have the record. But, it is a business. And
Sure.
that's the part where I leave up to all of you. So
Right.
I just want to sing. I mean, God willing, we'll start to do more and more shows. I mean, it's the phones are starting to ring. The
Yeah.
phone's
Yeah.
ringing. But again, I'm gonna try to just keep my eye on the prize. And Gino always says to me, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing and let us do everything else. So
So why the pettiness in freestyle? Why do you think there's the pettiness?
because
Why
you have a
all
lot of
the
Facebook, they have maybe 500 followers, and I'm not knocking them for it.
no?
Everybody wants to be a singer, and the way they get in, on the internet is they put, not all the music is quality. So listen, people could get mad at me all they want. I'm going to speak truth.
Yeah.
Not everything is fire. Not everything is a hit.
It's
Not
not.
listen, it's not. And some of the stuff that I hear is like, that is what convoluted our genre and dumbed it down for
Yes.
all the nonsense that came
Yes.
through. And I'm not putting down. I think if you want to do music and you really want it, you have to, like, collectively, like, get some money together, get a good producer. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you got to spend thousands of dollars, but try to get your vocals right. Get your vocals right.
Yes.
Get your vocals right. Do I not tell you this about when we speak artistry? You can see when somebody's passionate about what they love and
Right.
when they're just dialing it in. And I hear a lot, I'm not saying anybody in particular now, because I am hearing a lot of good things coming out. I mean, you have
Sure.
Jenny, you know what I mean? But like, you have
Yeah.
some of them that are just, oh my God, like, and you will have people that get mad. A lot of the artists that have established themselves, and you cannot get mad for the people that have been doing shows and recording. And just listen, what we spend, our budget is on records.
Yeah.
It's a sacrifice that I make. It's a sacrifice that my husband makes, my family, my brother. They believe in me. You guys believe in me. Gino believes in me. But we carefully plan it out. We want to make sure that we have a quality record and a quality mix. And
Yeah.
Gino, has I've learned so much from him over this past year. I watch him. I work at the label. We've worked together on days when we would go there, and I just watch what he does. And there's a method to his madness. And he's like, not. He goes, and people will submit records for me, and I'll be like, yeah, I'll do it. And he's like, no, Denine, you have to be more selective at this point because it is
Yes.
important. You know that. I mean, it's hard for me because I do. You want to give everybody. I don't want to say somebody's work isn't good. That's hurting their feelings. I'm not
Right.
about that, but
Yeah.
not everything's fire, and I think people get insulted, and I think that's what watered down the genre.
Anybody can release a song. That's the problem. Anybody can release a song. I ran into it with my rapper back in the day, the
Did
country rap.
you?
Everybody can, and it's not mixed good. It's not just not a good song. And there's
Right.
just thousands of them a day that get released, and it dummies it down. And then even in that genre, everybody's talking smack, trying to put another person down. because
And
it's
then
just
we've seen this when I first came back out doing shows, you would have a promoter tell another artist that she don't want to be on a show with you. I've never
right.
said I didn't want to be on a show. I will be on a show with anyone. If you want me to be there, I will be there. I'm not above or below anyone. I want us all to be like, I want us all to shine. We could all do it. There's a lot of records on the radio. I do think in our genre, it is a little more competitive because we're all fighting for a spot. And
Yeah.
if you say you're not, you're lying. And I don't mean like the legends. I mean like I don't consider myself a legend. So a lot of people, I appreciate those that say that. I don't. So, and that's not me fishing for a title. That's me being realistic. I'm the second wave of freestyle that came along. Do I think I have a big stamp on the genre? I do. I think I've made my mark. I've tried, especially with Adam and Gino.
Oh
But
yeah.
like my goal now is to just consistently. I love the quote that says, once you get what you manifested for and your dream starts to come true, pray for the fortitude to keep doing it consistently. So
Yeah.
that is my prayer now. Like now my goal is to let's just keep up this level of stamina, and honestly, I keep a high standard for myself.
Yeah.
And you guys all do it for me too. Listen, I think people think you guys will sit around and go, Denine, you're so great. Your hair looks great. You look great. You're sounding great. What is the first thing we do when I get off stage?
What's the first
Mm,
thing we do? Well,
We talk
listen.
about what I did wrong.
Well, of course, but the last couple times, Gina looked over at me, and I said, "God damn, she killed it!" Like the last couple times were phenomenal.
Thank you.
You're
But
you're
my
you're
goal is to listen when you guys, my point is, here I am, I'm 50, I'm in my 50s, I'm 51, proud of my age. And I have a manager, I have a road manager, I have my husband, I have my brother, I have everybody by the stage. And you couple first 10 shows I did, it was like, Dee, listen, you're
yeah,
getting a little winded, you do it.
yeah.
Okay, try this. But what did I do? I took that advice because I don't think I know everything. And I moved on to the next show. Okay, I'm going to take what you said and I'm going to take the breaks when I need, and I'm not going to jump all over the speakers.
You took the
And
words right out of my mouth.
I listen and I move forward. So I think it's important for artists, young, old, in between, starting out, seasoned. You got to listen to your team too. You don't know everything, and fight for when you think like this record. I knew I wanted it to go farther.
Yeah,
So
it's still got a lot of legs on it, you know.
I think
So
so. I mean, George thinks so. My
George,
bestie thinks so.
your
Listen, I
bestie
just want to
George.
stare at him when he's on stage. He doesn't even have to. He could just sing the song, and I could just stare at him doing it. I love him.
I
And
kind
as
of
a per,
he's awesome. He's such a nice dude too. He's so down to earth.
I
I
mean,
want to
he's
see you
like,
guys performing together.
oh, that's the goal. He was so cool. Like, I had wrote him. We were going back and forth on a text, and he said, "Son," I said, "I really do appreciate this opportunity that you're giving me." I looked at it. I look at it like that. It's an opportunity of a lifetime for me, and I'm really honored. And he said, "You have worked really hard, and I've watched you work hard." And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, he's watched me work. Oh my God, like,
Yeah,
but that meant so much to me.
yeah,
Because so that's like key for people out there putting out good music.
yeah.
People are watching you. They're
Of
watching
course,
us. They want us to do good. They don't want us to not. The artists that have paved the way want people behind them to do well too.
of course they do.
'Cause eventually they got to pass the torch.
At
I mean,
some point,
I'll probably be in with a walker singing la 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 la. That's the goal, but I mean, it's amazing. This has been a fun ride. It really
yeah,
has.
it has, and it's cultivated by Gino. I know he hates to be on the front and take the credit, but look, he's got an ear for dance music. I mean, he's got an ear for the music. He knows a good song. He knows quality when it comes to that
Absolutely.
side in the dance music. And then that's why him and I was attached to the hit with him for a few years because I learned, I soaked it up.
Absolutely. I mean, you have him and you have Mike and you have two great mentors. And
Two of the
so
best.
imagine, Gino's my mentor, and I listen to him, and he has given me some really good advice in these last couple days. He's like, you really You got to not let what's said about you, because for the most part it's been positive, but like you're gonna have your people. And he's like, Denine, I've been drugged through the mud. And
Yeah.
so that's good when you have somebody like him, and
Yeah.
you have this team of people around you that are, not telling you you're great all the time, but just keeping it real. And he does, like,
Oh yeah.
we just had a conversation right before we got on the phone, right before we started this podcast. And he's like, I want you to just, because sometimes I get in my head, and he's like, you got to stay focused.
You got to stay
Remember why
focused.
you're doing it.
Don't be surprised these people that claim that you're friends aren't really your friends. Like there's a lot of that. The business is a shitty business.
Yeah, and
Can be a
everybody's
shitty
trying to
business.
make it. And,
Right.
I mean, something could be misconstrued, and it could be, said, listen, one thing I'm never going to do is cut somebody's throat to get ahead. Am I going to keep working harder? And if an opportunity comes along, am I going to take it? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any artist, I'm not going to, like, be shy, weird about it, but like, I mean, we're all doing this for a reason. We all want to do shows, and I think it's not so much about the money for me. I really just do love being on stage. I love the studio. You know that. I love
Of course.
recording.
Yeah.
But why we record is so we can perform.
And you're one of the best at it. I
Oh,
mean,
thank you.
I feel bad for anybody that doesn't have their shit together and goes after you. Goes follows you up because you kill it. I'm big on you not opening shows. I hate it.
I
I
know
can't
you don't live,
stand
but
it.
that don't bother me anymore. Like, I
It
think
bothers. It doesn't have to bother. It bothers. I'm the diva here. It bothers me. It bothers me because I look
I think
further
you feel
than
like
than
it's not giving me the respect.
that's what I feel. And I
But
feel
somebody's got to go first. Somebody
well,
has.
somebody's got to go first, but I don't want it to be you. I feel like in some cases, I think it was done purposely. I don't know if
Well,
that's
we know
true.
it was. But you know what I love to do, and I'm short, I'm scrappy, I'm Italian, and my mother raised me to be a fighter for what's right. And I don't mean a physical fighter.
Right.
I will. So my thing is, okay, you want to try to make me look, make me open up because you think it's going to hurt me.
Right.
Now I'm really going to bring it. And God forbid, the people behind me, that, because I'm going to bring my A game plus. And that's how I operate now. The first couple times it happened, it was like, why?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
but I got it. I had to get out of I had to stop being, like, it's an ego thing. It does. It feels like a little bit of a punch in the gut. You feel like you're getting, like, but listen, somebody's got to go first. And like I said, I'd rather be a little fish in a very big pond of the TKAs and the
Yeah.
Betty D's and the Cynthias of the world and the George Lamonts. I'm good. I'm good with that. It's funny because once you're comfortable with what you're doing, and you got what it takes, nobody can deter you from your goal. And I'm laser focused, that. And I just feel like right now, just it's only just the beginning. I really feel that, because we have stuff in the hopper that,
Oh yeah.
honestly,
Yes, we do.
and Janelle's working on things, and
Yep.
now, I mean, God bless her. And I'm not just saying this because I adore her as my friend of almost 30 plus years. She deserves this. She has been through it a lot too. She doesn't always get her just due. That girl has written some great records, and
Yeah.
George Lamond wants to work with her. And I said,
Right.
Janelle, you deserve this.
Yeah.
Like,
Go
you
out and
have
get it.
worked hard, paid your dues, girl. And she's like, because she was like, I went, you're a writer. Right.
Right.
Right, for whoever. Not just me. You're not just, I mean, I would love her to just, and I always go, just save the good stuff for me. Like, but she's amazing. I didn't get to this point without her either. So she deserves it. I'm happy that it's happening with her as well.
Yes.
So, because she deserves that.
Yeah. She does. I mean, like I said, this last song,
I
it's
mean,
phenomenal.
and listen, she was humming something to me the other night, and I'm like, girl.
Right. And then us when we get together and we're on the road or we go somewhere, it's always. Oh, I mean, we sit in the green room and just we
And
go
we
crazy.
laugh and we
It's
have
so,
fun.
I love it.
Listen, I was laughing the other night because I'm thinking about our car ride with my brother.
Oh, never again will he drive.
We survived it. But I'm
Almost.
thinking we do laugh though. Like there are so many funny things that have happened over the span of a year and a half, and it's such a short time. And I have so many good memories with you and Janelle and Gino and my husband,
Yeah.
my son, my 9-year-old who wants to bum rush the stage and do TikToks with TKA.
He's a star in his
Kay,
own right.
he's his own entity. And listen, if I do anything, and I say this all the time, if it's anything that I'm showing my boys that at any age you can achieve a goal, like and here I am doing it with your dad and your dad's, my baby
Right.
daddies, and
Right.
my best friends. And
Right.
it's just and Marco, I adore you.
Thank
You're
you.
I told you this before, I'll say it publicly again. You're an asset to us, and you're
Thank you.
loyal, and I appreciate you. And I'm hoping we can go on the road.
I
I want to see
think
you running around a room in your underwear. I just want to see that. Just
it's not going to
constantly.
happen.
No, never.
I don't know. It depends how much.
One
You can get
can
me a drink
dream,
order.
Marco.
If you.
Did I make you blush?
Yeah, you made me blush. Now I'm never going to go on the road with you again.
Like, I want to go see O Town. Why can't I go? I want to
I mean,
Trevor.
hey, you
I
got
think
you
me and
got
Trevor need to do a record. Come on,
Listen,
Trevor.
we tried to make that work, but hopefully maybe a next one. We'll see. If it's in the budget, we'll get that going.
That
So
budget keeps expanding.
exactly. I mean, that's one of my goals for you is expanding.
My poor brother's like sweating right now. My husband.
I know. I can hear your husband, the moths coming out of his wallet, flying away. He's like, God, I got to spend more money. Guess what, man? I got 4 plaques coming to me, and you better buy me one of them.
I need Gino.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I was told that he was to get my second plaque.
Oh, I don't know anything about that, but
I only got one. So I should have 5.
They're expensive, so I gotta.
I don't need a plaque on my. I never had so my husband did this wall, and I'll show you real quick. This is really cool because it's the free. We got remix of the year last year.
Oh yeah,
from freestyle music, and then who I love, DJ Racer. It's I got artist of the month for August, and what that does is put you in contention for artist of the year.
Right.
And so we'll know in January whether or not I get artist of the year, which it because he had. I don't know if I will, but
I hope you win. I hope you win.
If I don't win, it's just nice to know that I got these like great accolades from the community, from the fans, from the DJs. From what I gather, they talk a lot and compare and, not judge us, but they're like, they're looking at like who's putting out good quality music. And I think people get mad. They're like, I deserve a shot. And listen, you gotta go. I would rather see somebody come out like a newer artist. There's a couple really Nori Yvelle came out with a record last year that was amazing. I always love to see she's a first time freestyle artist. There's a young lady by the name of Cristal who is a very super talented lady. She's in the freestyle genre. She's very young. I think she's maybe 17 or 18. So you hope that you have these younger artists coming up that want to carry it on. Because listen, what's going to happen? Is it going to die down once we're all getting up there. We have to pass the torch at some point. I mean, I have a good 20 years left, I think.
I think you do. I mean, yeah, you do. But you're a better person than me because when I was out at these awards, I was like, oh, I'm just happy to be at the Grand Ole Opry, and then I didn't win. I was like, F this. But
tell me about that award. I understand.
I was joking, half joking, but it's like, damn, I thought I did enough to at least garner one.
But don't you think being nominated is like a really
because it's not like one of these click here and vote. It's an independent. They say, hey, you see you're doing things, we're going to nominate you, and there you go.
Really?
Yeah, it's a legit thing. You go there. I mean, it was thousands of people in this auditorium. That's
pretty cool.
It was phenomenal. It was really phenomenal.
So think about the people that would do anything to be in your position at that point, to be at that place. And I know you get disappointed because I get disappointed with things,
Yeah.
I wonder, and we know this, I'm very open about this. I wonder, what's it going to take for me? I know that I can't be on every big show, but I would love the opportunity, even if it's a 5-minute spot.
Right.
To just I would love that. And I know that if I keep working hard and if you keep working hard, someday you're gonna. Well, you won. Didn't you win?
No, I didn't win anything.
I thought you won last year.
No, just rub it in. No, I
How
didn't
are
win.
you getting nominated? How many nominees were there?
I think in my group there was 5 for one and
So five people
5
in
in
the
another one.
whole world, in the whole country. You were
It's
one
all
of
yeah,
five people.
yeah.
Not a bad thing. Not a bad
No, it's
statistic.
not. I'm half playing. I mean, because how I look at it like this. I look around the room and I'm like, how many of you guys get to fly to LA and meet with some major names? I haven't been at this long enough to earn that. You know, I got 2 of the best mentors, Gino and Mike. You know, how many phone calls am I with some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry, interested in the people that
Yeah.
we have. So I look at it like that. I'm like, okay, like don't get too mad, you know.
No,
But
you
I'm
gotta give
competitive. You know
yourself
that.
some credit.
I'm competitive.
Well, and it's so funny when people say competitive. I think people think yes, you're competing with other artists, but I'm always like, I'm competing with myself because
Right.
I will rip myself apart. You don't need to rip me apart because meaning like like anybody, like you have TikTok's a little harsh. Sometimes you'll get some trolls that'll get in
Creepy
there. And
guy.
listen, I love my community, man. Let me tell you, they could say like, oh, your nose is crooked. You will have like my people just come. That to me is worth its weight more than any plaque, any award. This is the loyalty that the fans give you, and
Yeah.
you're gonna get there. You're getting there. I mean, I've
Oh,
seen such a growth in you in 6 months.
I'm so blessed that I know I'm blessed. Like I said, I got 2 of the best mentors, and I may be a little impatient, and that's okay.
See, God's
But
trying to teach us both patience because I'm a little impatient. In case you
I'm just
haven't,
it's the Italian in me. I want this to, but listen, contracts and this and that,
Janelle,
you
am
know
I
how it is.
impatient? Gino, am I impatient?
Yeah,
Fuzz,
she impatient. So,
no.
you know, I work with young artists. If I were to have a young artist, right? Just a regular artist, nobody in particular, but I do work with young artists, Carly,
Yeah.
to be. But if you were to sit there in a room and I lock you guys in the room and I have I have the key in my pocket and I leave you guys alone, what do you tell a young artist like a Carly or somebody else that's you know in the industry, has a really really good shot in such a quick amount of time? Um, like what were you gonna what would you say to the artist? What advice would you say to that young artist?
Honestly, Carly in particular, because I know her personally, and I think she's really got a lot of potential. My first word of advice is you have to shut everything else out of your world. You'll get boyfriends later. You'll be on social media. You'll have all that other or whatever. I'm not saying that's like I don't know her
Yeah,
personally like that, but I mean,
yeah,
everything else you have to have tunnel vision when you are starting out. You have to eat, breathe, not to be gross, shit music. Everything has to be about your career, your social media presence, getting better at your craft, singing lessons, dancing lessons, whatever's going to make you the best. So when you come out swinging. You come out, you leave don't, I'm just not into this half assing it or faking it till I make it thing. It's go all in and then know that when you're done, you gave it all you got and you have no regrets. Like that's what I feel any young artist. Just hone in and zero laser focus. Listen to your mentors, listen to your team, your manager, and just eat, breathe, and poopy music. And that's it. Everything else can wait. Guys can wait. If she's done score or he's done school, just everything else will happen later. Don't get caught up in drama of the internet like a lot of people do. And that's just you will get there because I believe it's 10% talent and 90% heart. It's how much do I want this? Because there's a lot of pretty girls and handsome guys, and there's a lot of good singers, and there's good musicians, but it's a diamond. You got to be special. You have to show the industry what do I have different than Joe Schmo next to me. And that's
Right.
my heart. That's my level of intense like dedication to my artistry. And that's how I feel like right now, like I everything I do is about my family and my music career right now. Everything else really doesn't matter. I do make time for my friends and things like that. I don't mean that. But end goal is how am I going to be a better artist? I dance 2 nights a week doing, I know everybody, Gina goes, oh, there she goes again with her mummers. But I
Ugh.
keep in physical shape with that. I love it. It
Yeah.
keeps me,
Yeah.
I'm dancing with 22, 23-year olds. And to me, that's another step keeping me on my toes of performance.
Right.
So everything in my mind is aimed at how I'm going to be a better musician, better artist, better, whatever. Because eventually I'd like to transition over and work with Gino at the label with artist development. I'd love to get my hands on a girl like Carly and just, you know, just if I could look at my old self, my young self like her, I'd be like, oh my God, the decisions that you make, girl, every decision matters. Everything
Yeah.
you don't do matters.
Yeah.
And that's my advice. Like you fight for it. You got to fight that's competitive. Like I said,
Yeah. It is.
don't you think, I mean, as an artist developer, what do you look for in somebody? Don't you look for that spark of something, the
Yes.
it?
Yes. Yes.
Show
Of
me,
course.
you know?
You have to. You have to show us you want it. I mean, we're over here, like I said, meetings, taking meetings. We're over here trying to get shows. We're over here, trying to scrounge up money because we need a photo shoot. Or there's things that artist developers do that people don't even know and don't get the credit for. And that's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, because I like to talk about the business and I want people to understand that the artists are kind of an extension of the got people behind, like the team. They're like, you're an extension of Gino and myself,
Absolutely.
because if we're failing you behind, people are going to know we're failing you behind
Yeah.
you. If
Yeah.
if you come out there half-assing it, what's that say about the people behind you,
And
right?
it's funny because I agree. I mean, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And I've surrounded myself with probably some of the best in the business. So I'm really proud of that, and
Yeah.
I appreciate each of you. I mean, I could
Yeah.
have a good song and be a good singer, but if I don't have a good manager or a good record label or a good writer or a good,
Yeah.
Willie doing remixes, it's
Yeah.
really it takes like I see a lot of the younger artists that I've come in contact with, they dial it in. Um, they think if they make a post, a couple posts a week or they just, don't practice every day, do your scales, dance everything, make sure you're not getting winded when you're performing. I
Right.
don't know about you, but at my age, I still worry, like I'm not going to get winded. I got to make sure I reserve my breath.
Yeah.
When I watch a younger person, I want to see, I'm going to be honest with you, my standards are very, like, I have a hard eye and I want to see not perfection because nobody's perfect, but I want to see you bring it every time. I don't want to
Yeah.
hear that your heel broke and or your shoe hurts or, I mean, it's just, I think touring the way we did, not making not being in bad hotels, eating bad food. You make your bones that way.
Yeah.
You pave your own way. You gotta want it. You gotta
Yeah.
want it. You gotta
Yeah.
fight for it.
I'm
You
gonna cut
do.
out this last 10 minutes. It should be a feature. Like just
Right.
that advice right there is perfect.
I think that people gotta
Perfect.
fight harder and want they have to want it as much
Yeah.
as everybody around them. And I see that now a lot with
Yeah.
artists that I've talked to,
Right.
younger. Well, like no, it's you have to invest in yourself. I am a 50% partner in everything, and that's
Yeah.
financial,
Yeah.
that's decision making. You gotta pay your own way as well. I mean,
These
listen,
these
come on,
two
look at
artists, a
Madonna.
lot of them
Madonna
don't.
slept on floors. She
Yeah.
she waitressed. She did, I mean, come on, that's why they call it starving artists. Like
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
artists, that's all they work for. They work to pay for studio.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a committed artist. I think that's a lot of the time. I don't know if you go through that in any of the artists that you've worked with, but when it comes a little too easy for them, it's not. And listen, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Everybody, exactly. Everybody would do it. I think there's an expectation that it should happen really quick. When in reality, how long does it take, right? Like we're blessed. Like Carly's blessed because where we're at, and it's because of Mike. It's his
Right.
contact,
Oh,
35 years
absolutely.
in the music business, contacts. So I'm blessed to be a part of that too. So I understand that we got, it's a little bit of luck too, right? It doesn't
Absolutely.
happen that quick very often. It really
Oh my
doesn't.
God, no. I mean, I
Right.
don't know if I know of anybody, unless you were like a YouTube sensation, who's over an overnight success. I think mostly if you've talked to artists, they'll tell you a big backstory. It
Yeah.
didn't just happen overnight for them.
Right.
If it did, God bless them. I mean, then that's
Right.
that's
It's
amazing.
it's
But
it's rare. It's
very
rare.
rare. I mean, I started when I was 6. So for
Right.
me, do the math. It's
Right.
a lot of years I've been singing, and a lot of years that, it was hard, and I stepped away. Even the 10 years that I was gone, I was a cantor in church. I still sang. I found a
Yeah.
way to do music. I mean, when you love it, you'll find a way. You'll
You
figure
find
it
a way.
out,
Yeah.
right?
Well, yeah. Well, thank you, Denine. I'm
This
so
was
happy you're
fun,
on. I wanted to have you on so bad. One of my
and I
first
love
guests.
you, Marco, like a
Oh, I love you
brother.
too.
I do, and I appreciate you, and
And
I'm thrilled. Thank you for having me.
feelings mutual, and I know we'll be talking very soon because we got a lot of other stuff in the works. And
Yes, we do.
every day is a text about something, a possibility, or it's just a meme or whatever. Like my phone does not stop with
And
that
it's
group.
fun. We like to keep connected with each other because that's important too, and you guys
It is
are my
important.
friends.
I'm a little disappointed because Freddie Freestyle didn't show his face, but that's okay. I
Freddie
know he was
Freestyle.
dying to get his own spotlight, but
I think poor Freddie, that's a sin I gave him. I think I made him shook last week at the show.
yeah, I think you shook him.
Yeah, he's a
He
good
didn't. He
guy.
wasn't very good.
He is a trooper. God love him.
He's the man. He's the man. Well, thank you, Denine. I appreciate
Love
you,
you.
and
Everybody head on over to Willie Valentine's on TikTok. He's doing music. So if
go
you
see
want to head on
Willie.
over to
All right,
Willie
Denine.
Val.
I'll holler. Love you.
Love you.
That was my girl, Denine. Oh man, I love that woman. She's phenomenal. If you ever have a chance to see her live, go see her live. She just demands. She commands the stage. She's a great performer. If you're from the '90s and I think it was the early '90s, mid '90s, you'll know which song she sang. If you're from this general area, the freestyle genre, she's one of the best. So, um, wow, what a good show! I love her advice to young artists. I deal with young artists a lot. Um, you know, um, when it comes to artist development, I'm still learning. I'm learning how to write music. I'm learning how to produce. I'm learning all that stuff. Um, I'm going to have Caputo on eventually. I want to have my guy Pete Lane on, who I started this thing with. Um, you know, and a bunch of other artists that I'm working on that are friends of mine, and hopefully I can get them on here very soon. But just happy to be here. Happy to be in a business. It's a tough business. If always looking for artists, new music. You know, hip hop. You got to be really special for me to. Even though I love hip hop, I don't feel a lot what's going on today. If you know anybody with talent, um, you know, can sing, will back themselves up. Will put their money where their mouth is, and once a shot, reach out to me. Have them reach out to me. Take a listen to them. That's what I do. I got an ear. That's why. That's why the goat wants me around. So, with that being said, thank you for tuning in. Uh, you can find this episode. It'll probably be up in a couple hours on all streaming platforms. I like to do the live because I like that live radio feel to it. Um, because I used to love and used to be in radio back in the day. So I love this. I've been doing this podcasting thing for over 14 years. I was going live before live was even a thing, on Facebook or anything. So I'm just glad to have a show back. I'm glad to have 2 consecutive weeks with great guests and great music talk. I'm going to work on another good show for next week. But please, all streaming platforms, Go if you're on Apple, please leave a rating and a review if you can. That would be great. I would appreciate it. My name is Manager Marco, the Not So Famous Podcast, and I'm out.